Hi everyone, on Wednesday, October the 1st, in the Harrods Cross area of Dublin, an horrific mass stabbing event took place. Now, 3 people were injured, including an elderly woman who volunteers in the local community. Now, this happened in the middle of the afternoon, just around 4 p.m. Now, a man was detained. At the time, it was reported that it was a 29-year-old foreign national was detained, and yesterday that man appeared in Dublin District Court. He was a 29-year-old Ukrainian man by the name of Ole Shastany. Now, he is living in a hotel in Donegal in the northwest of the country. Now, he's been charged with a number of assaults, including an assault to a female in Mount Argus Park, a male in Mount Argus Park, and a male in the Lower Commish Road. Now, my thoughts and prayers are with the victims of those attacks that took place on Wednesday afternoon. And yesterday, Friday, as I said, he was before the Dublin District Court. Now, he was charged with a number of assaults and under the Non-Fatal Offences Against a Person Act, and also Section 11 of the Firearms and Offensive Weapons Act as well. Now, these are very serious offences, and there was no application for bail by his defence solicitor, Daniel Hanaho. I think they were applying for free legal aid, and he has been remanded on custody until the 9th of October, when he'll be due to be before the court again. Now, this was a abhorrent attack on people in the middle of the day, going about their daily business, going about what ordinary people do, but this is becoming an all too regular occurrence in Dublin and across Ireland. Of course, Jim O'Callaghan, who was a local TD for the area, Minister for Justice and Migration of Fianna Fáil, he said that Dublin is safe. Of course, Helen McEntee said recently, when she was Justice Minister, and went down along Talbot Street and says, Dublin's safe. Of course, when they're surrounded by their media lackeys and their bodyguards, they're pretty safe. But for the vast majority of people, they could attest to something quite different to what these out-of-touch political ministers claim. Now, what's really, really important with this is the serious lack of safety in the city, serious lack of community policing in the city. Like currently I'm in the north inner city part of Dublin that has been neglected for years and years and years. And of course we have a presidential candidate, Jim McGavin, who's saying how wonderful work he's done in the north east of the city. Anything but. And as we look towards the Customs House, the Department of Housing, another abject failure of people's needs in Ireland. But of course we have, on top of that, services, resources in working class communities where people are left behind, lack of basic supports that people need. And at the same time we have mass immigration chaos on top of it. And we have the political establishment in Ireland that have no interest in representing the people of Ireland. One case in point is the 114,000 Ukrainians that have come to Ireland under the European Union Temporary Protection Directive. Now, this has been extended until 2026. And there was a massive call out by the Irish government over the past few years to get accommodation for people coming from Ukraine. It was never done for the homeless Irish who were on the streets for years and years. There was never a big media call out, public relations call out for people to offer up their homes for people who were dying on the streets of Dublin, for instance. But it's okay when it comes to an issue that Brussels wants you to hone in on. Of course, they're doing the work of the bureaucrats in Brussels, and they're always the yes men and yes women for Brussels, putting their hands up like we did during the bank bailout in terms of austerity. They've done the same now with the Temporary Protection Directive with Ukrainians, and hence we have a crisis here taking place on the streets of Dublin City on Wednesday afternoon. And on top of that, we have illegal immigration chaos as well, or human trafficking, or whatever you want to call it. Economic migrants being transported to benefit those who are very wealthy in society at the expense of ordinary people. And this is outrageous. This is the reality of what's taking place in Dublin City in terms of the safety of our citizens and looking after people. As I said, they've been neglected for years and years by the political establishment, where they pay lip service to community policing. They pay lip service to investing in community safety. And then they're the ones that create the chaos through their manufactured policies to then come up with the order out of this chaos. And that's what they will move towards. To say they'll put our best interests first, which they don't. And they'll try and clamp down on basic rights for people rather than dealing with the underlying issues in Ireland. Because it gives them an opportunity to enforce more surveillance. We see what they're doing in Britain in terms of digital ID. The ones who created the chaos are now looking with the solution to the chaos that they themselves created. And people are falling for it. So this is what's taking place in Ireland. It's despicable, it's outrageous, and people are being taken for fools to what's taking place across our society. And at the sharpest end, where you see this happening on the streets of a quiet part of Dublin, it should really wake up people, and rather than be desensitised to it or make it normal or accept it. It wasn't even reported on in any way, shape or form by the media in the way it should have been reported. And this is what's really important around this, is the fact that they're all in bed together around the narrative they're pushing down the throats of ordinary people. Important to get the truth out there, to get honesty, to get the reality to what's facing people on the ground, up and down the country. And in the words of Patrick Pearse, the people are sovereign and indefeasible. We should have the rights in terms of demanding what policy should be enacted in our countries. We have no power, it's been ceded to Brussels. But yet we have political establishments who are just interested in being yes men and yes women for Brussels, and being like nodding lapdogs for these globalists, rather than standing up for the interests of the people here in Ireland. So thanks a lot for the support. Please share my videos, and thanks for subscribing also to my channel. So from Dublin today, slán go fóill. Take care. Bye bye.